a living memorial to the Holocaust.
So when we introduce Patty Kenner, she's on the board,
Yeah,
correct?
I'm on the board too.
So I'll introduce you to say a few words about Patty and bring it up in that way, please.
Yes,
And we're trying to limit each of the 5 guests and the introductory remarks to about 10 minutes total. So since you did such a good job for my good friend Howard Teach, we'll give you like 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, I take it. 3 minutes, I'll take them. Just don't mute me because I don't touch this thing.
We're
We have
not
Elena.
muting you, don't worry.
Leave me on. You tell me when I can talk. 3 minutes.
Want to
We'll
do a
introduce
practice thing? Because right now we just have people come in, we see who's on the screen, we ask them to sign into the chat, so we have your email, but we'll take care of that for you.
Who is going to tell me when I can talk?
I will I will introduce you. So Helena is going to introduce the head of the SBA, talk about PPP loans. I'm going to introduce the second honoree is going to be Patty. And I'll introduce you right before I introduce Patty.
Fine.
To talk about the Museum of Jewish Heritage.
So do I talk before Patty?
No, I will introduce you right before Patty's honor, and you congratulate her, and then we'll let Patty talk after you.
So I talk after her?
Yes, you can talk about Patty's great work at the museum board.
When do I do
her
it?
as a mother and a business leader.
And when do I do that?
I will introduce you probably about 4:15.
No problem. I hang in there.
Okay.
Okay, just introduce me and tell me when. And three
Yes.
minutes. Good.
So, is there any particular way you want us to introduce you besides being on the board?
Just tell them that I am.
It's Dr. Ruth.
I know, but
Mark, no, just to say that I'm on the board with Patty, and I'll talk about the board.
okay. You know, one of my courses in college, Dr. Ellen Waterman at SUNY Albany was sexual therapy, sexual behavior.
Right? Okay. So what do you do now, Mark?
I am I'm a lawyer and the president of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. And you'll meet Cynthia DiBartolo, my chairwoman. And you've already met Helena Nat, who we got right out of GW University. So she's...
Okay, I know that our good friend, Jeff Tabak, an attorney who is very active at the museum, see if he wants to say something.
we're going to have to do a different event for that. We got 5 honorees and we're going to
No problem, no problem.
We'll do another one, no worries.
No problem. Just don't mute me.
You
That will
sound
be
like
all-
Ruth Bader
Dr. Ruth,
Ginsburg.
I was just saying, Dr. Ruth, if we muted you, it would be all over social media. We would never do that.
I can talk, but I don't touch the screen.
So Helena, I'm gonna introduce you and the women, and then you're gonna take it over and introduce Elaine.
Yep.
And then after Elaine, I'm going to introduce Dr. Ruth and our special guest because she's on the board with Patty Kenner.
Right.
Okay.
And then you're gonna finish with Shirley Kessel, you know, Helena.
Yes.
And in between, we'll have Terry will introduce Tanya Wilson Thomas, and I or Cynthia. I got good remarks for Lisa Tuazalo.
Oh, here comes Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
You got Patty Kenner in there.
Patty's on. Here comes Tanya. We got everyone. I'm waiting. We're only waiting for Shirley, and then hi, Tanya. Denise, do you have it? Can you write it in the chat, Denise? I see your hands up.
Yes, I got my audio up. This is Tanya. Hi, everyone. Tanya
Hi,
Thomas
Tanya.
is working on the video.
Tanya Wilson Thomas.
That is me. Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good, good. I know Terry told me that you're an employee at the New York City Department of Veteran Services. He didn't tell me exactly what you do, but
Yes, I do. I am one of their engagement and community service coordinators, and I'm also one of the VA benefits advisors.
that's important. We're working with the
Yes,
United States Veterans Chamber of Commerce right now on a greater New York chapter, and we're envisioning doing a lot of work in terms of referring veterans in need to your great services.
wonderful, wonderful.
You
Actually,
know,
I am just,
we honored
yes,
Commissioner Hendon last month too, and he's a great speaker and what a leader.
yes, he is. Yes, he is, and we're blessed to have him. Okay.
and
Why
Tanya,
isn't the video showing?
I actually posted your information on the veterans website, so greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. Wasn't it a lot of information?
It's resources. It's resources, and it's great to know. So it's down there. Just scroll to the bottom of the page, and we put up New York veteran resources. So I think it's going to be very helpful.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. And I am just trying to see, we have a few minutes here, just trying to see how I can, the video is not coming on. Okay.
There's a video button at the bottom if you click an icon.
I see it. I'm clicking it. We do our survivor meetings on Zoom, so I just don't know why it's not clicking. Oh,
Just
there
don't.
I am. There I am. Hello, everyone.
I just don't touch my screen.
Dr. Ruth, hello,
Elena,
hello,
we have to
hello.
bring up Lisa, and I saw Elaine.
Lisa's on.
Okay, no video though.
I guess she will come on at one
Okay.
point.
I'll leave. What was it? One of the great quotes of Women's History Month is I think it was Estee Lauder who said, "I don't plan it, I do it. I work hard."
Mhm.
I understand that.
Mm.
And that's the only way things will get done.
Or as Ginger Rogers said, "I do everything that Fred does, but in high heels and backwards."
This
So
is
this
such an honor.
this particular Women's History Month is very important because last year we got COVIDed out and we didn't even know about Zoom.
Mm.
And Zoom has gone up 30-fold, 300% since COVID started. It's amazing how the economy, how the American spirit can keep marching on and overcoming.
Yes, it's quite amazing. Really is.
Another interesting fact I noticed is that I think in 1987 actually was when Congress declared Women's History Month. It took them that long. I think we had the Gold Star organization came out of World War II. So again,
Right.
our veterans, and our people protecting us, we're ahead of the game. There he is, Colonel Terry Holliday.
Hi, how are you? Who's Tanya and who's Dr. Westheimer? Hi, Dr. Ruth. How are you?
Dr.
Been a
Ruth,
fan of yours for many years, ma'am.
Thank
how
you.
dare he?
Just don't touch my screen. Mute me.
Okay.
I wish someone would touch mine.
With pleasure. Hi, Helena.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
Pretty good. Mark,
Yes.
I found something that I would like to, start off on about a little history on the women's history from President Obama. So can I lead into
You want to read that?
at 4 o'clock, we'll start it.
Okay, you want to?
Yep, and then I'll turn it over to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's Women's History Day, so what?
Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi.
No, I'm fine. I look good. I
Peter
look
is
good.
not cooperating.
Lisa Tiazzolo? Is that how you pronounce that?
Look, come here.
Tuazzolo?
Two Zolo, like the number
You-
two.
Tuazzolo.
Yes.
Right now they can't see you because my
Pleasure to
camera's
meet
off.
you.
But I was just on there, and I'm light.
You look,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you need to
Okay.
have a light on, and
Okay.
you need to turn your chair around to this way instead of the darkness of television.
Oh, I can't.
Cynthia's coming on.
Oh boy. I had it just right so they don't see the back. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm just talking.
Mark, can you hear me?
yes?
Okay, because my thing is going in and out. I'm trying to promote Cynthia to panelist, and it's not working. So I don't know why.
Well, the technician went home early today, so it's all on you.
It might be on
That's
Cynthia.
exactly
Cynthia,
what
we're
happened
trying to
here.
promote you.
Listen, people, I'm sorry. We have workmen here, and there's a lot of adjusting in the household.
So when you're not actually speaking, put it on mute. That'll cover that.
Okay.
Elena, when I introduce you, instead of you and going back and forth, and then you give your Obama proclamation.
Okay, here comes Shirley. Shirley's on.
What is this, an airplane, filming Airplane One?
Yeah, it's like crazy. I have to
No, the famous line, "Don't call me Shirley."
oh, okay. Hey, Shirley.
Hi, Helena.
Shirley,
So good to see you.
look who's on. We got Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth, I met you before.
Nice to meet you, Dave. They gave me 3 minutes. Okay. Tell me when I can talk.
We're not touching you. Don't worry. We're good.
I met you through David Best before, Dr. Ruth. We had dinner one time in New York City
Okay.
with David Best.
Okay, we'll do it again.
So we're gonna need Patty, if you're out there, we're gonna need you on soon. I'm sure you're listening.
Patty, we got you twice. So I don't know if she's doing. Elaine, hey, how are you? We see you.
Elaine, I like that background. You're helping all those women entrepreneurs.
Every single one of them, Jamal, every single one of them.
Helena tells me you've been doing marvelous work for our membership in terms of PPP acquisition for the loans and also on PPP loan forgiveness, which has been a mainstay of this COVID economy, helping the businesses survive, keep their people employed. You've done a fantastic job, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say about the power of women.
Yeah, let me tell you, I just left one of those events with those women that's behind me, some of them.
Mhm.
Yeah, you went, but I did the update for the EIDL loan, and my emails were blowing up on, everyone was calling me and saying, how do I get more money? And I'm like, did you read the email? The
That's right.
SBA will email
You-
you. Do not call them. They
Yeah.
will call you.
I
Yeah.
think you should tell them to call 212 Chamber or visit our website, which is
I
right
think
behind
they-
Helena.
They
Because
have
Helena
been.
leads the chamber, the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, chamber.nyc.
Mark, I wanted to let you know that Lloyd Williams from the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce gave you guys a shout out. One day I had a conflict and I had to come on here and I had to be on there. And there started at 3 and they told me it was going to go to like 4:35. I said, wait a minute now. I have to be on the New York Chamber of Commerce, Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. And he said, oh, you know what? They do great work. So I was like saying to myself, wow. They said, we know that chamber. That chamber does great work. So I said, I'm going to have to drop off your call and go over there to them, you know. So I dropped off his call. He says, no problem. I dropped off his call and came over.
Lloyd is
Lloyd's a good
again,
guy.
as we like to say, one of our sponsors, the Museum of Jewish Heritage, is a mensch. And he's been doing a marvelous job with our sister organization. And we've pledged loyalty between the organizations with the Greater Harlem Chamber and the Greater New York Chamber. But the history of the Greater Harlem Chamber is unparalleled.
I
And as
believe
we
that.
do business throughout the world, and Helena is doing international public relations, people want to know, and people do know about Harlem and the Greater
Yes.
Harlem Chamber.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Now I was going to say, you guys are definitely a close call there, I tell you.
So it's 4 o'clock. We want to, be respectful of everyone's time. So welcome everyone to Women's History Awards reception on behalf of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. We were planning, we had this all planned for last year, as you can know, around the date, and we actually had to postpone it due to COVID. So I am just thrilled about this, and I just wanted to say, welcome to our honorees, and my name is Helena Nat. I'm the Executive Director with the Greater New York Chamber. On February 28, 2011, President Obama signed a presidential proclamation for Women's History Month. It stated, during Women's History Month, we reflect on the extraordinary accomplishments of women and honor their role in shaping the course of our nation's history. Today, women have reached heights their mothers and grandmothers might have only imagined. Women now comprise nearly half of our workforce and the majority of students in our colleges and universities. They scale the skies as astronauts, expand our economy as entrepreneurs and business leaders, and serve our country at the highest levels of government and our armed forces. In honor of the pioneering women who came before us and in recognition of those who will come after us, this month we recommit to erasing the remaining inequities facing women in our day. So with that, we are starting our Women's Networking History Awards reception on behalf of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. So Mark, you want to?
Helena, like you just said it all, as usual, Helena Nat, our Executive Director of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, takes the lead. I'm blessed to work with her every day. I see Cynthia DiBartolo, our chairwoman, who's done a marvelous job, the first two-term chairwoman. Congratulations, Cynthia, from Tigers Financial. Would you like to say some introductory remarks, Cynthia?
Women's History Month is celebrated every March, but I do believe women should be celebrated every day. And at the Chamber, one of the things we've been very instrumental in is trying to figure out how to advocate for women businesses, because there's never been a time where a women-owned businesses, or for that matter, any minority business, has an opportunity to go after contracts, subcontracts, and revenue opportunities. So it is my pleasure to join you today and really celebrate each of the women that we're going to honor, because they're not just changing the path for women today, they're changing it for women tomorrow.
Well said. And again, I'm Mark Jaffe, the president and CEO of the Greater New York Chamber. And today I'm surrounded by women, powerful, smart, hardworking women. And Terry Holliday, Colonel Terry Holliday, who's going to introduce one of our special guests. Today we have 5 honorees. And we couldn't do this without our membership and our sponsorship. We have Emblem Health, Republic Bank, New York RX Card, Staples Connect, Massage Envy, and also today one of the honorees is on the board of the Museum of Jewish Heritage, and we're going to bring that up in a few minutes. But first, I want to go back to Helena Nat, the linchpin of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, and during this COVID pandemic, we were able to help a lot of people. We got the news out. We advocated to our state, our federal officials. We were able to get the PPP loans down lower, not going to the large mega companies. You saw some of the larger New York companies forego their tens of millions of dollars, and that reverberated throughout the country. So at the end of the first round of PPP, there was money left over for all small businesses. And again, through American CARES Act, our Congress passed the second round, and we've been helping our members forgive them. We have stage money and entertainment money coming up. We have a great partner Helena works with on a regular basis, the Small Business Administration. They have a great relationship. Elaine Powell has done a marvelous job. I believe I've known her for close to, let's say, over 10 years. And Helena, would you like to introduce our first honoree, Elaine Powell?
Sure. Well, first of all, Elaine, it is my honor to be doing this and for us to recognize your hard work. I just want to say, Elaine has been coming on to our networking events every week, informing the businesses of the power of the PPP, the power of the EIDL, all the economic injury disaster loans, all the opportunities for businesses to stay in business through this economic aid and stimulus package. And without her communicating that to the entrepreneurs, to the small businesses, a lot of businesses, I have to say, would be out of business. And we host these twice a week. Elaine is there answering the questions, listening to the businesses, communicating what their concerns are, what their needs are down to Washington, D.C. So I am going to let Elaine take it over. But Elaine, you know how I feel about you. I love you. I think it is phenomenal of what you have done during COVID and what the future of the SBA and how important it is, because the SBA is the driving engine to get us out of this economic lowdown for New York City, especially to drive more business back and rebuild New York City. So Elaine, take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Mark, for those kind words, and for you, Helena, for those kinds words. As she stated, my name is Elaine Powell Belnavis, and I'm an economic development specialist, and I work with the United States Small Business Administration. And when the pandemic happened, I remember leaving the office in March, and we still haven't been back. So part of my job requires me to go out and to talk about the programs and services of the Small Business Administration. And in that, this PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program, and the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And we're going to be talking shortly about this SVOG, the Shelter Venture Operators Grant that has not even launched as of yet. The president signed into law what they call the Coronavirus Relief Securities Act. And in that act, they created this PPP program and the Economic Injury Disaster Advance Program. So I was wondering, how am I going to get the word out? And like Helena said, I've been knowing her for a while, as long as I've been knowing Mark. And they're great partners. And she reached out to me And I said, let me go on this thing. You know, all of us had some challenges with learning how to use the technology because we didn't know what we were doing. Zoom, what is that? So we all got going, and Helena came up with this idea of this networking thing every Tuesday and Thursday. So I came and I got hooked. I really did. I got hooked. I said, this is a fantastic way to reach out to small businesses, to let them know what it is that we were doing. So she don't understand, but she kept me in the pages and researching this and researching that. And the questions that came across to me, if I didn't get an answer to her on the Zoom, I certainly did get back to her and I gave her an answer. And I was very delighted to hear that several people who was on the Zoom, they got PPP loans. Well, when I found out what Elena was doing, I extended this to some of the other chambers of commerces. And I was telling Mark earlier about the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, which they had great things to say about this chamber. And I went to other chambers and I also shared that they don't do what the New York Greater Chamber of Commerce do, but they did it in a different way. They just did a bunch of workshops. And the workshops was about the PPP program and the economic injury disaster loan and what the SBA can actually do. One of our mandates at the SBA is to help people start, grow, and expand a business. So before the pandemic, there was 30.2 million small businesses. Now we don't know, because we haven't counted again, where we are now since the pandemic, because we did lose a lot of businesses in the pandemic. But there was a lot of people that started businesses too. So we are here to help small businesses in any way that we can. And this forum that was presented by the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce was a fantastic forum for me to come on a weekly basis to update, to advise, and to coordinate. There was banks on here. I remember, Helena, the bank said that they was discouraging the PPP loan. I called Helena up the next day. I said, give me that number. And I called up the bank. I said, what is going on? Why are you discouraging the PPP? I said, I'm on promoting and you're discouraging. This doesn't work. So I'm a strong advocate for small businesses. And the picture you see behind me is a picture of our women's event that we do for Women's History Month. We had it today. And we couldn't get that picture because it was on Zoom. But we have certainly been reaching out to the underserved through these types of forums. And when Elena gave me the word, I was like shocked, humble, and honored to have been among you ladies also to be honored this afternoon. And I just want to thank Helena. I want to thank Mark for just even thinking about me, but they are a great chamber and they do help the small businesses. So I appreciate the honor and I accept it in a humble way, Helena. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Elaine, and you deserve this. And during National Small Business Week, another SBA program, we're hoping to do a partial expo, some live in a larger venue. And Helena will get that information out to the membership.
Awesome.
Our next honoree hails from Harrison, New York, my hometown, and I'm quite privileged. I know that she serves on the board of the Jewish Heritage Museum, one of our sponsors. She is a leader in early childhood education and understanding children. And during Women's History Month, this is great because, as I like to say at the chamber, every day is Women's History Month. And without women, where would we be? We have to thank our mothers, our sisters, our grandmothers.
Gone. I was on and it's gone.
Patty's having technical.
Well, Patty, you can go back, click in and sign in again, and Helena will promote you to panelist. But while we're waiting, we have a special guest here, a co-member from the board, also on the board of the Museum of Jewish Heritage. And I think everybody knows her pretty well, Dr. Ruth Leftheimer.
Okay.
Would you like to say a few words?
Hold on for 1 second. We gotta fix this. Hold on for 1 second.
Oh, don't touch my screen.
Patty, you're gonna have to mute. Hold on for 1 second.
Patty, mute in the meantime.
There we
Okay,
go.
Dr. Ruth.
Yes, okay. First of all, I couldn't let Patty Kenner being honored without my being there. And not only am I on the board, there is another member, not a woman, a man, Jeffrey Tabak, who is very active at the Museum of Jewish Heritage. He's on, but I don't see him. But I have to tell you something about Patty. In typical Patty Kenner's way, she's very effective, but she's always late. My next book is going to be a story about Patty Kenner. She is on so many boards, but that we have to forgive her if she comes in late. She's very effective. She makes a lot of money for the Museum of Jewish Heritage, and I hope for the Chamber of Commerce. And she is really a force of nature, especially when she comes in late, because then you realize afterwards that here she was, and she lends her name and her influence and her many friends and her money. I won't tell you where she lives, because you will want to have a birthday party at her apartment like I had for my 90th. But I want to wish all of you, this is very important. A woman's wants these days, not just because of that virus, but in general, so that women and girls know that there is a body, even some men I see, of knowledge, of influence that supports them and helps them with small business. So to all of you, happy holidays. To all of you, good health. And now I tell you something, come nearer, men and women. To all of you, if you have a partner, don't do anything on the screen. But if you have a partner, good sex and all the best for you forever. Bye.
Thank you,
Nice
Dr.
to hear.
Ruth. And there's a personal touch, and it's so great at our chamber that we have so many participants. Over 30,000 get our monthly email, our daily email notifications, but yet we take the opportunity to put them together so they get to know one another and do business. Speaking of business, not only is Patty Kenner a great public servant, serving on so many boards, passionate about early childhood education, but she runs a successful family business, Campus Coach, and she's the president of that family business, and to be commended for that. A lot of family businesses can't sustain, but Campus Coach is post-pandemic. We're going to do some great events. We're going to be traveling around the tri-state area. And again, Ms. Kenner deserves to be honored. She's a business leader. She's a family leader. She's a public servant. And as we like to say at the Museum of Jewish Heritage, in my face, she's immense. Patty Kenner, from my hometown of Harrison, would you like to tell us what it's like to be a woman in the year 2021?
Okay. I've never had trouble before. Is there something?
Hold, how about now?
Okay.
There we go.
Now,
Got bad feedback.
Nice. She's
Hold
got
on.
it.
Let me just,
Drop her.
I have it on mute, so it's on, try it again. You're signed in 3 times and I don't know
Yes.
which one.
She's on.
Okay. Try now. Now you're signed in 5 times. Patty, try now.
how's
Go ahead and drop them all.
Yeah, it's bad feedback. Hold on for a second. I can't even.
While Helena works on that technical issue, we may have to have Patty call in or delete the duplicative lines in, and we can start again. But in the meantime, we'll save some quality time for Patty at the end. We'll figure this out. Let's go on to our next comment.
I don't think she must be signed in on a telephone. She's only signed in once. I don't know how she's in. She must be under other people. So, because I'm checking it and it's not
So
popping
in the
up.
meantime, I'd like to go on to another great honoree, Lisa Tuzalo. Lisa Tuzalo is a survivor. She's a widow of Sergeant Paul Tuzalo, who served 19 years in the New York City Police Department, a father, and a mother. And nobody wants to see a young family broken apart, but Lisa is a survivor. She turned this tragedy of becoming a widow into something powerful for families. And through the support of her family and friends, she started running marathons and helped create the Silver Shield Foundation to support the memories of those who served, who we couldn't be prouder of. And Lisa, I know we were going to honor you last year after you ran that first marathon. I hope you're still in marathon shape, because we're coming up now to the season where the shots in the arms and the three major companies are getting us to herd immunity. And we at the Greater New York Chamber look forward to getting you speaking live at not only our Small Business Week Expo in May, but our major expo, which we're working on at the Javits Center to be one of the first major expos New York City hosts post-pandemic. So Lisa, would you like to tell us your strength and why women are so strong and powerful and why families can't survive without them, please?
Well, thank you for the honor, and hello to everyone. I appreciate the time that you've taken to be here today. I am part of the Silver Shield Foundation because they provide scholarships to children of fallen officers, and in fact for all first responders in the tri-state area. And for me, the running of the marathon, and I've only done one so far, but I am planning on doing this year's New York City Marathon. But for me, running the marathon was very special because my theme was never alone, never forgotten. I was married to my husband for just a little over 6 years, and we had a 3- and a 4-year-old when he was taken from us while he was working in the Bronx. So for me, running the marathon is very symbolic of never alone, never forgotten, because it really signifies the backing and the strength that I have as a mom and as a woman from our police department, from the New York City Police Department, as well as my local departments. And what better way to celebrate Paul's life and his memory and his honor than doing something as fabulous as running a marathon. And it really started out as just one member of his precinct that was going to run each of the 26 miles with me, and instead turned into a total of about 80 officers running the entire marathon. And some would change in and out and come back and forth, but it was just a wonderful experience for me, and the strength and the compassion that I felt and the love that I felt from not only the police department, but the entire city and surrounding communities was just so heartwarming and unbelievable. And I could not be more proud. And I think for me personally, you know, we all have choices in life, and certainly right now through the pandemic and what everyone is going through, I like to say that everyone's got their own personal backpack on. And we never really know what each person is carrying in that backpack and what they're supporting on their shoulders. And some backpacks have a few pebbles in it. And unfortunately, other backpacks, people are carrying loads of weight on their shoulders. And so for me, I think that it is so important that we support one another. And what better way to do this than participating in a marathon and showing our city and everyone beyond how strong we all can be. And I always say to my kids, we have a choice. We can sit in our homes and do nothing, or we can pick ourselves up with that heavy backpack on and forge forward and keep going. And that's what we do. You know, Paul would not want me sitting home doing nothing with the boys. Paul wants me living life and sharing the love and the passion that I have for so much with my children. And so for me, I take them everywhere. They ran part of the marathon with me, and they are experiencing life just the way Paul would have wanted to do it with them. And for me, if I can change the life of one unfortunate circumstance or unfortunate situation where there's another widow in my shoes, and give them strength and emotion and power to be uplifting to them, then that's what I'm gonna do. So it's my pleasure being here. I'm honored for you following up and doing this for a second year and making this happen. It's so special, and I really look forward to working with all of you in the future, and you know, bringing light to whatever I can in life.
Mark, you're muted. Lisa, that,
God
you know
bless
what?
you, Lisa. And
Amazing.
your story is amazing. You've taken one of the toughest things in the world and turned it into a positive. Your family is stronger for that. We can see the strength of your character, and you're a shining example to humanity. And all the honorees are going to be getting a special plaque that our committee is going to design. Normally, we have the pressure of handing them out, but I can't wait till we get back to normal. So at this point in time, I want to thank Colonel Terrence Holliday. He serves on the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, and he also chairs our Military and Veterans Affairs Committee. And under his leadership, we're now working very closely with the United States Veterans Chamber. Terry, you're privileged because you're one of the few men surrounded by these powerful women today. And I want you to introduce our next guest, Tanya Wilson, our next honoree, Tanya Wilson Thomas.
Thanks very much, Mark. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah,
And thank you very much for finally getting my rank right. You know,
Thank you.
I'm so very happy to be here. I don't think I've missed one of these events, and I'm sure that after COVID, we'll get back to normal. But this is a wonderful moment for all of us. I'd like to speak for just a second about a wonderful colleague of mine, Tanya Wilson Thomas. In the veterans world, every place you go, you see Tanya, or you see good work being done in the veterans community, and her name is mentioned. She is the widow of an Air Force veteran, the mother of an Air Force military member. She's a grandmother. She's active with a number of organizations. She's a Gold Star wife in America. And that was where she lost her husband, but she also does in this association, she mentors the widow of a military member for a year. And it's sort of like reaching out and talking to folks and helping somebody in a difficult circumstance and bringing them along. She is a member of the Senator Elizabeth Dole Hidden Heroes campaign, and it addresses the military caregivers. It's all military caregivers, okay? Because it has a lot to do with those who left us, but those who were left behind, and those who cared for the people who weren't here. She's active with the American Red Cross, military and veterans, again, a caregiver network, and the Blue Star Family Corporation. She does tragedy assistance planning for survivors. They call that TAPS. And she's one who keeps that motion going. Now, I've come to work with Tanya She and I are both colleagues with the New York City Department of Veteran Services. In fact, we had this high-level job that we were doing yesterday, working in a plant in Brooklyn, bagging meals for veterans on a Hello Fresh project. But anyhow, after that was finished, I just went home and went to sleep because I'm an old guy. But she wound up going out and delivering some of these meals to veterans who are housebound. So she's always, I would like to say in the front lines, but she's beyond that because she's out there. She's always doing something. She's always doing something good, and she represents the good in all people. Tanya, you have to
Tanya,
unmute.
Oh
unmute.
my. No, I got it. Sorry. That was an honor. It's an honor to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Terry. I really appreciate that lead in. I appreciate you. First of all, congratulations to all of the honorees. I respect you, ladies. You're beautiful. You're thriving in your lives. And this is what we are about. Okay? It's wonderful to be here with you to discuss how we women are helping to shape healthy society, even after our tragedies. I come to you from several organizations, as Terry mentioned, and I appreciate that, Terry. To recognition on this sort of recognition. I like to stay in the background, so this is really funny to me, but it's an honor and I'm grateful. I decided a long time ago, I sat myself down and I asked myself, can you be involved in organizations where you are not the star? It's the veteran. It's the veteran who is the star. And I decided a long time ago that yes, I could. If I could not do that, then I would not embark on this. But I decided a long time ago that I am a caregiver. I was caregiver to my husband, Dwight Anthony Thomas Sr., and I would not be embarking on being involved and engaged with all of these organizations if I didn't know that Dwight was a wonderful man, and he is the reason why I do this. One of the reasons, the main reasons, my late husband, Dwight. I want to say that the work that I'm doing now in several organizations, the most prominent, aside from the David and Devetta Wilson Scholarship Fund, which is my family's scholarship organization. It's 30 years old now, and I'm one of the board of directors of the David and Devetta Wilson Scholarship Fund. Very important to me. Look out for some military news out of that organization. But I'm also a Gold Star Wives of part of the Gold Star Wives of America. And it's important to note that the difference between DOD assessed Gold Star families, you are assessed as a Gold Star family through the Department of Defense. In my case, I am part of the Gold Star Wives of America, a congressionally chartered organization, 501c3, and part of the requirements are military families who were killed in action, and service members who were killed in action, and also of service-connected conditions. And in my case, that was it. My husband, my late husband, Dwight, he passed away of service-connected conditions at 100%. I want to also mention TAPS. Well, let me just state that Gold Star Wives of America Incorporated was actually established here in New York City in 1945 by a group of widows who knew that widows need help. Lori Spears, I have to mention her, with a handful of other Army survivors, they organized Gold Star Wives of America Incorporated. The other organization I would like to mention is TAPS, through president and founder of TAPS, Bonnie Carroll. There are so many resources through that organization, and through that organization, I do peer mentor grieving widows for 1 year, and I've been doing this since about 2000, maybe 2006. I really enjoy being there for people who don't see their way out. And we know that when you are grieving, you can't see your way out and you can't see your way to a brighter day. And it's all about being a bridge to help someone realize that there is a tomorrow and there can be a tomorrow. That's the important work that we do. And also at the New York City Department of Veterans Services, I am working with veterans to help get their rent arrears and doing, helping them with their VA benefits. And I just want to say, I thank you all for having this. This is a wonderful, wonderful ceremony. And it's a pleasure to be in the company of such wonderful human beings, I'll say, human beings. But congratulations to you ladies. We have lots of work to do in our society. We're going to be here for each other. Someone else said it before me. We are going to work together to make sure that these families are healthy, happy, and thriving. Thank you very much. And Dr. Ruth, I love you.
Tanya, congratulations and well spoken. We love your work at the New York City Department of Veterans Services. We love Colonel Terrence Holliday, who is the honorary chairperson. He used to run that committee under our previous mayor. And we're blessed that it's Women's History Month. And it's interesting to note that the Gold Star group was smart enough to start back during World War II in 45. And yet we didn't get to honoring women until 1987. Women didn't have the right to vote till after you started your group. It's amazing that we're celebrating only 100 years of women's suffrage, and New York State was a leader. So I'm very glad that we got to honor you, Tanya, and for all the work you did. And again, we want to say a prayer for the great Marine Corps Sergeant Dwight Thomas Sr. And he'd be very proud of you today. I know that we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think we should go back and test the connection for Patty Kenner. Patty Kenner from Campus Coach runs a family-owned business. She happens to be from my hometown of Harrison, so I'm partial to her. She's a great public servant, serving on many boards. She is also on the board with Dr. Ruth at the Museum of Jewish Heritage. And Patty, why don't you tell us what it takes for a woman to lead a family and a family-owned business and do all that you do to help society be a better place?
How is my voice now? No,
you're perfect.
I am very sorry for this computer, but how lucky am I that Dr. Ruth was there to fill in for me. She can do that any day. Mark, thank you for introducing me. So I'm Patty Asquith Kenner. I run Campus Coach Lines, but not until the day my father died at 104 years old, 5 years ago. And the day after he died was the first time a woman was allowed to sign a check at Campus Coach Lines. So I am now the president of the company. We have almost no business because we're a charter bus company and we carry groups of people. We carry baseball teams and schools and veterans and every group whenever someone needs a group. So I think I told you last week, I'm trying to follow in Tanya's footsteps and Lisa's footsteps, all of them. And Elaine, you're all such accomplished, fabulous women. So I want to try to do some of the good things that you do. So when my buses aren't running, I've donated buses to City Meals on Wheels, and we deliver 5,000 meals a week to the homebound elderly during this pandemic. So I'm
bravo. Bravo, everybody, bravo.
I feel like I could sit in the room with all of you women who are so fabulous and do good work. I'm particularly interested in Holocaust survivors with all they've been through. We try to make the end of their lives comfortable. At the Museum of Jewish Heritage, we educate children and adults on what happens when one group thinks they're better than another group.
Wow.
There are only a few states in America that have Holocaust mandated curriculum, and New York is one of them. And the Museum of Jewish Heritage is the repository for curriculum. When teachers need to know what to do, they come to the Museum of Jewish Heritage. I'm also involved in the UJA Community Initiative for Holocaust Survivors. National Council of Jewish Women has food pantries that I'm involved in. Self-Help is an organization that helps Holocaust survivors. I'm also on the board of the American Heart Association. And one of my friends did something for her birthday to give back to the city. So for my last big birthday, I made a contribution to the American Heart Association. I had heard that getting help for people on the street who might have strokes or heart attacks has a terrible record in New York City. You can't get there fast enough. Other cities are much better. So I gave a grant that we train every single New York City high school student in hands-on CPR. We go into the high schools with these dummies and the kids practice. And not only is it great for the public, it's empowering for the children. Imagine a student who knows that he can save a life of someone. Well, we have had a high school kid in New York save someone's life. While they were waiting for the ambulance to come, they were doing CPR and they saved the person's life. So I feel like I'm contributing like the rest of you fabulous women here. As for Chamber of Commerce, I grew up with very wonderful parents who taught me that every single day you have to give back. My father was the head of United Way. My mother was the head of Girl Scouts. That was just what you did in my family. You weren't being great. You weren't being fabulous. No one thanked you. That was life. And I like to think that, and my mother belonged to the Chamber of Commerce when my mother had a hat store in Harrison and then a hat store in Larchmont. Every Chamber of Commerce she belonged to. She said, that's the strength of a community. You all get together, you work together. And so I'm honored that the New York City Chamber of Commerce has honored me. And I'm very happy to be here with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patty. And again, Harrison's my hometown, and I'm privileged to work with the Harrison Chamber of Commerce. They're a good group, aspiring. They work hard. We recently got a grant from the County Executive of Westchester for their good work. We also work with the Dobbs Ferry Chamber, the Hastings Chamber, the Irvington Chamber, the Rivertowns Chamber, the Sleepy Hollow and Tarrytown Chambers. We work with hundreds of chambers, and we partner with over 30,000 business and civic leaders because we truly believe there are strength in numbers. And my statistics show me that half those numbers are women. And again, I want to give a shout out to our chairwoman, Cynthia DiBartolo, and Helena Nat, our executive director, who makes the chamber hum and purr. She did marvelous work during the COVID when people were ready to sit at home. Helena said, no, we're going to do something. And she's helped hundreds and hundreds of members get the PPP and start up and has kept this chamber very active. Helena, I'm going to let you introduce our final honoree of the day. I believe that you two went to school together way back in the day.
Way back in the day. We're not going to date ourselves, but I have the honor and the privilege of doing this, and I'm just so I'm so proud. You know, Shirley Kessel and I went to elementary, middle school, and high school throughout the Radnor Township school system, and we became friends mostly, I would say, in high school. And then we kind of kept in contact with each other throughout college and after college. and a little bit, I was delayed in Facebook, but I ran across, when I got onto Facebook, I ran across Shirley and her passion and it's not even a passion, it's the will to find a cure for migraines. And when I read her mission statement and everything that she does to ultimately to get a cure for this disabling disease, I was just like, you have to be honored. You have to get the word out. We need the information to put out to families so the parents can educate their kids on how to work with migraines, because and it's interesting because when I had conversations with Shirley, she educated me on migraines, and it was a lot of information is misinformation, and to put the knowledge and the awareness out there is why I am honoring Shirley Kessel, Miles for Migraine. She is a mother of 3 daughters, 2 of them who live with migraines. And you know what? I'm not going to read your story. I think, Shirley, you should tell your story. So congratulations. And it is my honor to bring awareness, to help you bring awareness for Miles for Migraine.
Wow, that's fantastic, Helena. Thank you so much. And I will say, so we don't date ourselves, but I will say that Helena has the most infectious laugh of anyone you will ever meet. So you have to get her to laugh so you know what I'm talking about. I'm really honored to be here. It is such an honor. I'm Shirley Kessel. I'm the executive director of Miles for Migraine, a nonprofit. And I also am a person with chronic migraine. And I want to just talk a little bit about migraine, because some of you in this meeting right now probably have not even been diagnosed with migraine, or perhaps you do have migraine or know someone with it. And maybe you are disabled by migraine and would like to be part of an advocacy community. I want to share some information about how our advocacy community is making strides. But let me just start with, what is migraine? It's a whole body multi-symptom disease that is more than just a headache, and it affects at least 38 million people in our country. It's a disease that is underfunded in research by the NIH. It's misdiagnosed and underdiagnosed by healthcare professionals, yet is the second most disabling disease in the world, according to the World Health Organization. So you might be asking yourself, well, why is such a prevalent disabling disease so underfunded and misunderstood? There's one reason for this, and it boiled down to one word, and that's because of stigma. Why is migraine a stigmatized disease? There are several reasons for this, and I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. First, migraine is an invisible disease. It can't be diagnosed with a blood test or other diagnostic tool. In addition, many healthcare providers also miss the diagnosis because, for example, medical school students only receive between 2 and 4 hours of training about migraine and other headache disorders. Second, migraine disproportionately affects more women than men. Historically, when women reported their symptoms to their doctors, they were just told that it's just stress and it's all in your head. And if you would just go home and have more sex with your husband, then you would feel better. And so we know this is not true. And I am someone who's affected by 3 generations, probably more, of women with migraine who have really had to, slog through life working with this disabling disease. But to make matters worse, members of the BIPOC community have historically resisted talking to healthcare providers about their pain because they're frequently labeled as drug seekers. For example, I'm going to read these quotes to you. Black people's nerve endings are less sensitive than white people's. Black people's skin is thicker than white people's, and Black people's blood coagulates more quickly than white people's. These are disturbing beliefs, and they're not long forgotten from the 19th century. They are notions harbored by far too many medical students and residents as recently as 2016. And this is what our community is working to disband. Another problem which contributes to the stigma of migraine is that it's on a spectrum of disability. Someone who has 1 or 2 attacks per month or year may not understand or even have the knowledge that someone can actually have 15 attacks per month and is unable to work, go to school, or have a productive life. All of these parameters contribute to the stigma of migraine, which has left many to disguise their disease and are thrusted into a life of secrecy and isolation, unwilling to talk about their disability, even to their doctors. So given this history, it's understandable why this community has only accelerated their advocacy journey within the past 10 years. And I just want to share a little bit about my own family history, which will illustrate why our community needs more advocates. When my 16-year-old daughter was diagnosed with migraine, the doctor gave her the same drugs that I had been prescribed 26 years prior when I was chronic at age 25. When I asked the doctor why, she said, well, there's nothing new for migraine. And my daughter exclaimed, Mom, you know, you're so old and I'm getting the same drugs as you. We need to do something about this. So we went home and researched the internet for a migraine race and found only one called Miles for Migraine. They had one race in San Francisco. I pleaded with the founder to bring the race to Philadelphia, but all she said to me was, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. And she was right. But we did start the first race in 2013 because you can just imagine watching your child suffer. She spent a year in bed in a dark room and eventually dropped out of high school. And I was determined to make a difference. Fast forward today, we now have 24 races, education days, support groups, social programs for both youth and adults in 24 cities. All of our proceeds go to fellowship training programs because there is a shortage of headache specialists in our country. For example, at Mayo Clinic in Arizona, it can take up to a year as a new patient to get an appointment with a specialist. And I just want to share a little bit more about something really important that happened just this past Tuesday. Another important organization in our community is the Alliance for Headache Disorders Advocacy, AHDA. We virtually went to Capitol Hill to meet with members of Congress and their aides to lobby for more centers of excellence to help veterans who are grossly underserved and are affected by migraine and other headache diseases. And I think Colonel Holliday and Tanya, I think you'll find these stats somewhat sobering. 350,000 global war on terror veterans sustained TBIs. Nearly half of these veterans with deployment-related TBI reported headaches 15 or more days per month, which is also known as chronic migraine, 4 to 11 years later, and 89% met criteria for migraine. 3 million of these GWAT veterans were exposed to toxic open burn pits, and this also includes first responders that worked in 9/11. Compared to veterans deployed, but not only exposed to burn pits, veterans deployed and with burn pit duties years later reported twice the risk of functional limitations due to migraine. And the statistics go on, and I'm just gonna stop by saying that the ask that we did, we call it Headache on the Hills, our day of advocacy, is that we asked for more centers of excellence for veterans. There's only 14 right now. We need more. We need to increase from 14 to 28 sites to ensure equitable access to headache disorder care for all veterans who seek it. They deserve it. They put their life on the line. They have served their time, their duty with us. And if I'm going to put this in the chat, if you have any interest in participating and you would like to help the cause for these veterans, you can go to this website and you can send a letter to your member of Congress. So thank you very much for listening.
Congratulations, Shirley, and congratulations to all the honorees, Lisa, Patty Kenner, Elaine Powell, Tanya Wilson. I am so impressed. As I said earlier, I would not be here without the power of women. My mother up in heaven, thank you. My daughter, my whole family. I'm so proud to be the president and CEO of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, led by powerful women like Cynthia DiBartolo and Helena Nat and all these great honorees. I know we have more events coming up. I know next week we have an open house coffee. We will also have an open house cocktail reception. I believe our political action committee will be continuing with the interviews for the next mayor of New York City. Andrew Yang will be on the hot seat, so to speak, on April 7th. We've already interviewed some of the top 5 candidates, and this year it's ranked voting. So our power and our strength in numbers will continue to grow as we get a new elected class. We'll also be interviewing the controller of the city of New York. Helena, you're the go-to spark plug of the chamber. Would you like to make some other announcements about what's coming up?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say to, Shirley, amazing work. What you bring awareness, especially I see Tanya and Terry were like shaking their heads and, to encompass all that information. Good for you. Congratulations. It's hard work. So we appreciate what you do. And if people don't say thank you, I'm sure that all the kids that wake up with migraines and one day they sit there and say, oh my God, you know what? I feel good today. They can say thank you to you. So Shirley, thank you so much. Miles for Migraines. She has it in the chat. People are talking about it. That's what the idea behind honoring these amazing women, because behind the amazing women are organizations that can really help people, and we've heard everyone's story. To Lisa, I saw you on TV, and when I saw you on TV running, my son actually ran the marathon at that time. I was like, oh my God, I gotta honor her. And I immediately got to my board and I said, we're honoring Lisa. It's amazing what you have done. On behalf of the Greater New York Chamber, I'm gonna get choked up. For you, it's hard, and we recognize it, and we're there for you for whatever we can do for your organization and for your family. So
thank you.
And for what you do, bringing out the information and being a role model, not only for your family, but a role model for everyone to see is just amazing. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Patricia, I got to meet you last week at our networking. It was a lot of fun. It's interesting. You're a family-run business, and I was talking to when we had the mayoral candidate forums. I would bring up that, New York City and even the Metro New York area, we're losing family-run businesses. There's very few family-run businesses left. And I think that we need to bring that back. And I think during COVID, and I brought this up to the mayors, the future mayors who are running, it's important that, during COVID, we were back in family mode. A lot of people were back in family mode, and hopefully that will, transgress into more family-run businesses. But I appreciate, on behalf of the Greater New York Chamber, what you've done. Even though you didn't have any business, you turned it in and gave, helped your community. And that is so appreciative. So thank you so much for helping out the veterans, helping out the students, for you to provide transportation. So thank you very much. Tanya, it's great to first meeting you, and Terry, thank you for the introduction. I'm also part of the the NY Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and as soon as Tanya and I started talking, she was like, trying to get more information. I said, Tanya, write it down, give me the links, let's put it on the website for the New York Veterans Chamber of Commerce, and you know what? It's already up there. She gave me, I think, 8 websites that are, if you want to go to the website, nyveteranschamber.org, scroll all the way down to the veteran resources. So Tanya, I'm going to be working with you along with Terry, but thank you so much for what you have done, what you're doing, and all the support of the boards that you sit on. So congratulations. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Elaine Powell, I can't speak enough. You know how much I love you. I actually, it's so funny because I get emails at 8 o'clock at night for people crying to me that they're running, they're going to go out of business. And this is a true story. Elaine gets it all the time because of the PPP. And we're in the our Greater New York Chamber provides a lot of information. So there's a lot of businesses that were on the verge of shutting down. A lot of people were crying their eyes out to me, and I was there. I got to help them. I got to help them. Let's provide information. Let's get them the loans. Let's get them in front. And they would cry to me. The banks weren't, returning their emails, nor were they returning the calls. And that first PPP round, I was on CNN screaming and sitting there saying, show the small businesses the money, because the major corporations and the multi-million-dollar companies were getting the PPP, and it wasn't the small business, the true entrepreneur. So Elaine helped me get that word out, and I am, the small businesses for the, the New York City area should, she's the forefront for it, providing information and making sure that people were able to get that PPP, the EIDL, the stimulus, and the shuttered venue, which is in the future for the entertainment business. So thank you for helping us through this transition. New York City will be back for the business, and we will be giving, I'm sure the SBA will be giving out more money. And to Dr. Ruth, thank you for being our guest. I love it, and we so appreciate you being on here. We appreciate our supporters from the Museum of Jewish Heritage, Living Memorial to the Holocaust, and also QMG. It's called Connections Management Group, is a huge supporter of today's women's recognition. And I would be remiss not to Cynthia DiBartolo, our chairperson, who I look up to every day. I'm honored to have you as our chairperson for the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce. And what a delight she works with. And she is, if you guys need anyone, she's a smart woman, financial. And she was rated, I think, #1 in the women for investments, her Tigris Law financial firm. So I'm not doing enough justice there, but Cynthia, you're such a great role model, and thank you.
We love what we do, Helena. We love helping small businesses succeed. And you have gone above and beyond throughout 2020 and 21 and seeing that we don't lose one of our small business members.
It is my privilege to work with both Helena and Cynthia every day. They make me look good, and that's hard to do. Again, I want to congratulate the 5 honorees. And they join an illustrious class. I mean, we've honored Kathy Hochul, we've honored Tish James, and now we've honored Patty Kenner, Shirley Kessel, Lisa Tozzalo, Tanya Wilson, and just
Elaine.
So many more. Campus Coach, a great family-run business, is amazing. The Small Business Administration, I've been working with them, regional director, going back almost 25 years. The great Aubrey Rogers, and now we have Elaine Powell. 2021 is looking very, very good. If you're not a member of the Greater New York Chamber of Commerce, just go to our website, chamber.nyc. That's the official New York City domain. Or be like me, go the old-fashioned way, call 212-CHAMBER. That's 242-6237. We'd love to have you come to our open houses, meet new people. If you have questions, not only can you put it in the chat, but you can email info@chamber.nyc. We are here to serve. And again, I want to congratulate all the honorees, and I look forward to working with you all in 2021 and beyond.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for all the attendees that are on there. And, I'm just going through Richard Pierce. Thank you so much. He's heading our mentoring committee with the Greater New York Chamber. I see Jerry Kessel. Hey, Jerry, how are you? Nice to see you. Well, to see you on here. And also, I'm just scrolling really quickly through. I think Ralph Rodriguez, who is a board member for the Veterans Chamber and a community partner. So we appreciate everyone who is on here. Thank you so much. Be well, be safe, and everyone have a Oh, someone's just messaging. Everyone be well and be safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Congrats.
Thank you so much. What an honor. Everybody
That was
take
really
care.
fun.
Yes.
Thanks,
Yes.
Elena, Mark.
Bye.
Thank you
So
so
long.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.